Hi, everybody. It's Tina Campbell, the New York Regional Partner of Master Networks. We're a national networking organization, and we're here to help entrepreneurs and business people to grow and pivot during some of this difficult time and even beyond. What we're doing through these lunch and learns is we're relaying tips with techniques, tactics for really transitioning to the new normal. And today we're learning from a friend of mine, Danielle Hughes, and she's going to help us to figure out how to develop your personality brand. So welcome, Danielle. How are you?
Thanks, Tina. I'm good. Thank you. All
Great. And I'm
right.
so excited for this because, all of these lunch and learns, I'm learning so much. I'm hoping that others will be taking information. And at the end, we'll be putting all of your links and all that into our comment section. So please
Awesome.
show us. I know you want to share a slide.
There we go. All right. We're all shared. Do you see everything? So
Yes, perfect.
our technology is working.
So far.
All right. All right, great. I'm just going to take it away if that's okay.
Go for it.
All right. So let's see. Okay. So I know Tina said talking about developing your personality brand. So what do I know about personality? And this is actually the copy that I have on my website and in my LinkedIn profile. So I'm not going to read it, but I think you'll see that I don't take myself all that seriously. I like to have a sense of humor about what I do. And I just believe that it's really important in this day and age that if you don't kind of differentiate yourself in some way, you will never be able to stand out in this landscape where there's so much competition and everything is super cluttered. So I'm going to get into a little bit of my background, and then I'll kind of show you how you can kind of create something like this for yourself and why it's so important. So what do I know about branding? So I worked in the television ad sales marketing area for about 12 years. I worked for a bunch of major cable companies, ABC, Discovery, Oxygen. And what I did was craft materials that our salespeople would need to go out and sell programming to the advertisers. And so that looked like just a lot of basically content creation before anybody used the term content creation. And we're talking about media kits and sales sheets and PowerPoint presentations, all those super sexy printed materials. And then I kind of moved from the business to business end of the business to consumer end. And I went over to a word of mouth marketing agency where I helped put brands in the hands of consumers. And I was messaging directly with consumers. And so through all that and through going freelance after that and then turning into a business owner, I've sort of figured out how to be an expert in brand voice, audience engagement, and get your audience to take action. And a lot of that came from just the pivot in being a freelancer where you're someone who's taking orders all day to a business owner where you kind of get to dictate the sort of work that you do and the clients that you take on. And how you do that is in how you position yourself and how you message yourself. I'm going to having earbud issues. And so what I do now is a lot of speaking engagements and thought leadership, which I hate that term. And as a writer, I really need to make up a new term because I just don't
Please
like it.
do. That would be
Right?
great.
We hate it. We hate thought leader, but I don't know what else to say because
I think
expert seems so
yeah.
like annoying. So I don't know. Let's think about that. Maybe we'll put a little challenge out to the group. If anybody has a better idea for thought leader, hit me up and let me know.
I think it's a great idea.
So here's just some of the brands that I've worked with over the years. And you can see sort of a nice, large, disparate group, some really big, some medium big, some nonprofits, financial, entertainment, etc. And then just some smaller peeps. And some of these people are actually Master Networks clients, which is super exciting.
That's great.
Because it's just not, you don't have to, anyone should have a personality brand is my thought, that whether or not you're a person, a small business, a solopreneur, or an actual large organization, you still need to have a distinct point of view and you still need to know what you stand for in order to create that connection with your audience. So some of the things that I've done over the years, and then we'll get off of me because everyone's really bored already, is websites, branding, newsletters, social media, emails, blah, blah, blah. But what I really do is help organizations and individuals develop their personality brand and create content that sounds like you by giving you the space to be yourself in your messaging. right? Because people,
Awesome.
I'm sure that you guys might have this too, where you say, oh God, I don't know how to write about myself. My copy doesn't sound like me, or it takes me forever to get something out. And the reason for that is because you're holding yourself back. Right? But writing to a friend is super easy. You don't have to hold anything back because your friend gets you. Your friend knows all the ugly. Your friends know everything. So you're just like, hey, what's up? Da, da, da. It's so easy. The minute you sit down to write something professionally, people freeze because they don't know how to be themselves.
I also think they don't know what they do.
Me, I think,
And that's why sometimes, I don't know, but we'll talk about this, I'm sure but sometimes it's asking your clients what you do for them sometimes, right?
And we're going to get to that because there's what you think you do and what you actually do. And I think that that's two different things. But that's a really good point. I mean, I think most people know the service they provide or the product they provide, but they don't know how to position it in a way that's going to resonate with the audience that they're trying to reach. And that's where you kind of bridge the gap. So where's the world that we live in? So the landscape obviously super cluttered. And right now with everything that's going on with, quarantining and COVID, I think internet and people are like 40% more online during the day. So you've got even more stuff coming at you all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody reads. Everyone's got short attention spans. We're cluttered with, concerns of fake news. And then you've got all these, sexism, ageism, racism, all the isms. So there's a lot going against us to kind of make a dent in the world that we're trying to serve. But where we are right now is there's actually more connection than ever, right? I mean, the number of Zoom calls you're probably on every day, the number of phone calls that you're on every day, the opportunities for webinars and presentations, right? There's so much connection going on because people are trying to feel more connected. So there's more eyeballs, there's more messaging, and you may be getting stuff in your inbox and some of it may be falling flat because brands are missing the mark about really talking about what's going on. But the ones that are probably resonating with you are these ones that are really genuine and real and human. And that's all the time. So I know people are really doing it now, but you should be doing that all the time, not just in a global pandemic. And so, like I said, it's all okay because there's more opportunity now for you to shine and show off. I've been talking about the fact that there's opportunity out there, but you don't have to be opportunistic, right? Because I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I don't want to message. I don't want to reach out. I don't want people to feel like I'm taking advantage, right. But you're not. You're a business owner and you're entitled to make a living. And how do you, again, find that space of like finding opportunity for you to still do your business, but not feel like you're taking advantage of people, because a lot of people are struggling right now. So I wanted to show kind of some examples, I think, of some genuine messaging that's working. And these are a bunch of newsletters that I've gotten from a bunch of people in my world. So this is from a designer. And, she says, hey, many people think of freelancers as people who work in their pajamas. They're not changing their clothes, or they're working from the kitchen table. And she says, while this might be true, she's been a remote designer for a long time now, and she doesn't embrace the freelance as funky perception, right? So it's very, first person, very human. She's got photos of her office. And then she says, my business is just that. It's a business, right? So you may think that because you're working from home, people take you less seriously, but she runs a highly successful creative endeavor. And so what she did here is she said, a lot of people who aren't used to working remotely are working remotely. So she says, I thought I would share some strategies and tools that make my working experience productive. And then she links to her website where she's got like 10 tips for collaboration. So again, it's, she's providing value, but she's still talking about what she does, but not in a way that, again, makes it feel like she's trying to take advantage.
Right, just letting people know that she's there, and then she's been doing this for quite a long time. So
exactly, 100%.
Not pivoting much. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then, this one's loading a little slowly. Here we go. Okay, another designer, and I love this one because I feel like what we need right now in the world is a little more beauty, right? And so she says, what can John Singer Sargent teach us? He's I think a Renaissance painter. Yeah. And she says she's been thinking about him a lot. She doesn't know why, but she finds his paintings very calming. That's cool. And then, so again, it's just what is relatable and human to her. Maybe it resonates with some people, maybe it doesn't, but she's not selling anything. She's not pushing anything. She's just saying like, there's still beauty in the world. And then here at the end, she says like, you know, if you're wondering what we're up to, like how are we as a studio surviving and what we're doing, she's got a little list here of like, yeah, we're continuing to do some work. We're sewing masks for local hospitals. So like, again, bringing in a little bit of like, we're still here and we're functioning. So it's a subtle message. But on the other hand, we're also really trying to give back and do some good for the community.
So is the pillow police coming after you right now?
The pillow police? What do you mean?
Do you remember those tags they would put on pillows, like "Do not remove this penalty of law"? Sorry, just
that's
made me
really
think
funny.
of it.
Of the pillow police? That's really funny. That tag is actually for the manufacturer. It's not for the homeowner. So once you get your stuff home, I know, but people don't know that. I have a couple more. So again, another studio. So if you're a designer, it's obviously easier for you to create things, but you can always do links. And so she created something like a printable. So she's like, you know, we're taking extra steps to stay healthy. And we created this little thing that you could print out and put on your fridge. And it was like a downloadable. And it just reminds people like, here's some things you can be doing at home while you're stuck. Right. Yeah. And again, nothing on here at all about them other than their URL, you know, and it was just we just want to be here for you. Right. And she says that here, right? We're here for you. If you have an idea you need, or you just want to chat, give us a call.
Great.
Okay. So in order to like do something like this, you need to know who you are as a brand, and you need to know what your voice is, right? Because it's hard to put out content that's genuine if you're struggling with sort of what your overall messaging is. So you need a strong positioning statement. So most organizations have a mission, right? They know what they're about. Maybe they have a vision for the future, but a positioning statement is how you tell your audience what you can do for them. So where this positioning statement needs to live is on your homepage. It should be above the fold, and it should be one of the first things that people see when they come to your website. I always tell my clients, if somebody comes to your website and immediately they don't know what you do, then you have lost.
Yes.
So, and it's not about what you do, but it's about what you can do for them and how you can address the needs that they have and the pain that they have. So what does that look like? Right? So here we go. So what your positioning needs, who is your audience? What are their pain points? Like make it heard. Where do you play? What is your category? How are you different? Or I like to say, why are you effing awesome? And what will they get, right? So what's the payoff or the benefit? What can you do better than your competitors, but without talking about your competitors? And I'm going to have all this later. There's a downloadable that you guys will get that you can build this on your own, so that you can spend time really thinking about this. Because what you need in order to do this is your value proposition, right? What you stand for, and your brand personality. So are you playful? Are you serious? Are you bold? Are you stoic? And what that looks like is just kind of figuring out who you want to be as a brand, and as an individual. And I think that could be any range of really reserved to really out there. It just depends on your industry and depends on what you're comfortable with. So I've got a couple of really strong positioning statements here that are kind of different. So this first one, stop waiting to make your mark, coaching for those who are ready to level up, coaching for leaders who don't know it yet, or leaders who are unfulfilled, right? So obviously this person's a business coach, but they're not saying, I'm a great coach, I have 20 years of experience, They're saying if this is you, if you are a leader who doesn't know it yet, or you're unfulfilled, I can help you. So it's how do you say it in a way where you're not actually saying it? Awesome. The next one, are you looking for design and strategy that helps you better connect and communicate with your customers? Rizzo Graphics takes your needs and melds them into well-defined and well-designed branding. Striving to exceed expectations. So a little bit about them, but always opening with a question that addresses the audience. The same thing with the other one. If you need storyboards, treatments, or illustrations, and done right is the only option, you're in the right place. Okay.
Those are awesome.
And then, okay,
There
we go.
Those are like sound bites, you know?
So, a positioning statement can be your soundbite. I mean, obviously it's shorter, probably, because they're probably not 30 or 45 seconds, but that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally think your soundbite should change all the time. I think
Oh
it could
yeah.
be really, but like for people who are honing their pitch or they're trying to say like, what do I do? This
Yeah.
is a great way to almost meld your positioning statement and your soundbite in the same way,
Yeah.
right? So just two more quick ones. Your business works better when you're not worrying about how things need to get done. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? And you've been in business long enough to know the secret to scaling up is what you're working with behind the scenes. I can make that back end beautiful through the power of operations. I love that. And
Yeah.
so she's an operations guru and she helps you scale, right? So again, just addressing the pain point, but like subtly talking about yourself in a way that says how you're helping your audience, not what you do.
Right. It's not boring where people just, zone out.
Exactly, exactly. So here's some things about what your brand positioning should do, right? So it should help inform your marketing decisions. It should differentiate your brand. It should be believable, right? You don't want to overpromise. You don't want to inflate. You don't want to have too much jargon or effusive terminology. Keep it simple, but make it powerful. Make it flexible, right? So it's okay for it to be one thing now. And then if you grow your business or if you shift your business, you could shift your positioning statement with it. It doesn't have to be a fixed thing.
Mhm.
And it should paint that clear mental image, right? So some of those you could literally like feel the pain point or see the pain point that
Oh
somebody's
yeah.
dealing
Very,
with.
very visual in the words. Yes.
Yes. Talk directly to your core audience. Again, you don't want to appeal to everyone because if you appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. So you want to figure out who that ideal customer is and talk just to them. And you want to be consistent too in all aspects of your brand. So how you're talking on one platform should be how you're talking on all platforms. You can have more fun maybe on social, be a little bit more light, but the overall gist of what you're trying to say should remain the same. You want to motivate your audience clearly, right? Like, I get your pain and I'm here to help you fix it, address it, whatever that is.
Mhm.
Again, it should be easy to understand. It should stand up to your competitors. Do some research, see what other people in your industry are putting on their websites or in their messaging, and see if you think it resonates or how you can differentiate. And again, a little bit, it should be yours and yours alone. You need to own that shit. So
Good.
and so what I've done is I've got links in here and we'll add them as well. I've got a brand positioning worksheet, which I'm going to take you through quickly on the next couple slides. And then I created this fun exercise called About Me Mad Libs, which essentially lets you build your about page or your LinkedIn profile using Mad Libs. Because I think the hardest thing for most people is starting. We don't know how to talk about ourselves. We don't even know where to begin. So this is a template that lets you kind of fill in kind of how you see yourself and how you talk about yourself. And that gives you a sense of where you're willing to have a little fun and where you're willing to maybe be a little bit more traditional with your language.
That's awesome. I believe I saw it posted also on our Facebook Master Networks members page.
Maybe, yes. And I also
So
have
that's great.
I did a quarantine version too, that's just pure
Oh,
fun. So I have
I think
quarantine
that's the
Mad
one.
Libs.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
That's more just for fun. So what does a brand positioning worksheet look like, right? So again, here's your 4 steps of your brand positioning, right? Your audience and their pain points. And like what I say here is you want to get as specific as possible, right? So my audience is women. Okay, well, women what? My audience is women leaders. Okay, women leaders what? Women leaders who are stuck. Okay, and they're stuck and they want more. So it's like you keep drilling down until you know this most specific audience that you can talk to.
That's great.
Where do you play? What is your category, right? Again, so my category, maybe it's coaching. Okay, what kind of coaching? Life coaching. Okay, what else? Life coaching for executives. Life coaching for executives who are unhappy, right? And you just keep going. How are you different, right? So this is something that is there's something you offer that no one else does. How do you frame it in a way that's unique to you, right? I mean, really, for the most part, none of us are super different, right? We all do a lot of overlapping things, but it's how you position what you do that makes you different, because there's plenty of room to go around. There's plenty of room for everyone, and somebody's going to want to resonate with the way you talk to them or the way you position yourself, and that's okay.
Right.
And then the last thing is like, what will they get, right? So what's that payoff or that benefit, right? So what are you solving for them, and what are they going to walk away with? And again, it's okay to be really specific here. And then you're going to build it, right? So it doesn't have to go in that order, but you have your 4 pieces, and then play around with how that sounds and how you can make that and bring that together, right? So mine is, I help individuals and the brands that target them to develop their genuine personality brand, creating content that sounds like you and giving you the space to truly be yourself in your messaging. And then I've kind of given you a little fill in the blank here, right? So like for your target market, what do they need? Your company provides, what is your benefit? Because you're going to get this. And again, you can just rework this and rework this and rework this until you have something that you're really happy with.
This is really interesting. And the thing that I can't thank you enough, because to me, this is like Mad Libs. This is like fill in the blank. And so many people have such a difficult time to, you can give them a task, but I love the fact that how you have like, who is the audience, and you just show how you built on that. That I've never seen anything like that. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
that was
it's
cool.
hard because I think a lot of business people, we want to get the most people that we can get as clients, but really you don't need the most, you need the best. And the more niche you can think about who you want to target, the better your messaging is going to be. My business coach always says, like, you can have a big audience, but you are marketing to a small audience. So
Yes.
you want to market to something that's very small subset, and other people will still find you. And it doesn't mean that you don't offer more services, but it's so much easier if you're thinking narrowly with your focus than thinking
Right.
broadly.
Well, because you can hit that target.
Exactly.
Can't hit something that's,
No,
so
I
wide.
mean, you're going to throw the dart at what? Like, what are you
Yeah,
throwing the dart at? It's like all
yeah,
over the place, right? But
yeah,
if you're throwing it at something small, it
yeah,
makes it so much easier.
that's right.
And then the last piece, oh, I didn't put a picture of the Mad Libs in, but the Mad Libs it's the same idea, but it's much more fill-inable. And I give you sort of fun little ways that you can say maybe how long you've been in business or what you really do, and add on different ways to kind of bring out your personality.
Yep.
And so I've got, obviously my website, and if you sign up for my bi-monthly newsletter, it only comes twice a month, I promise. And on Fridays, you'll also get the Mad Libs because it's part of the freebie when you sign up. You can follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can send me an email.
Great. And so I already am subscribed to your newsletter. Will I receive the Mad Libs
I can send them. I'll
separately?
send them too. And we can put a link in. I know you're going to post this on YouTube, so
Yes.
we can put links in YouTube for how people can go right to the documents and download them for sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that is I mean, I know that often this is something that you do with people and they pay you for. So I can't even thank you enough to just give us your your wisdom on this. And then hopefully what I'm looking is that people really need to get to know you and do that face to face with you beyond this. So if they would be crazy at this point not to take advantage of this time that you have to give them, and to do do a face to face and have more of a discovery session, correct?
Yeah, I'd love to. And I actually have a link on my website at the top that people can get on my calendar and book like a 15-minute intro or a
Great.
half an hour call. And obviously anybody in Master Networks can always reach out anytime. All I do is face to faces. Even before this, even before I was
Before you
quarantined, I did
knew.
tons of face to
Yeah,
faces.
that's right. Before you knew what you were doing. Well, I
Yeah.
can't thank you enough, and we're going to make sure everybody gets this, and we'll have an opportunity to sign up for your newsletter. It'll be live links, and thank you. I just really, I love speaking with you. It's always interesting. I don't think we do it enough, but that's something we'll have to
I'll have to remedy
remedy.
that.
Have to
There you
remedy
go.
that. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really
Thanks for
appreciate it.
having me, Tina.
Okay, bye.